Welcome to this week number 2 in this model 7. My name is Marta Manriquez, and today we're going to work on this week and these activities. First of all, I want to share with you the presentation that I create every week just to give you some specific information. I'm going to be checking that page in my channel so I can just check that everything is correct. If you have any question, problem, situation you want to express, you have the chat opened, and obviously you're going to have the different ways to keep in touch with us, with the tutor, the supervisor, or myself. You can talk to me through the email and platform you know already. So I'm going to start with the explanation, and obviously I'm going to share the link to the platform. Before the start, I want to specify something. I have been having so many different problems with the recording. Sometimes I just can't open the file, so please try to check the ways to do it correctly. I already shared that tutorial during the news forum. I think I had that information for you to check it and just try to verify that all the ways to express or share this, it's free. I mean, I have been checking some activities and they have restricted. So I couldn't open some files, so please check that and verify it. I have just checked activities with this problem and I need the access. I need permission to get to your area or your cloud. So please try to check it, and if you want to upload it again, just let me know if the time is over, okay? I already shared this information that I was telling you about and how to share the files or the recording files on Drive. Try to do it like that, or you already have them. Well, you can do it by Drive, and you need to be very careful with the information of this permission or access. And this is the way you're going to do it. Any person who has the link, it's going to be able to open the file, but for sure you're going to share it by platforms. So I'm going to be the one who's going to check it. Try to set this setting or this information, and in that way I can just open and listen to your file. Obviously you have this option like the last one, and in case you have a problem to record your audio, it's Vocado, it's like the last option, not because it's not good, but it's good, but it's more useful the one in the Drive, because when you go to work at your job, you're going to be able to share some files and documents and things like that by Drive. That's going to help you in this educational environment and with your job. As you know, every Monday we're going to have our sessions because we had these results, and I'm going to start during the days on Monday, and the time I'm going to start with the time of the Mexico City. So just pay attention to that time, and it's going to be at 9 p.m. The purpose of this session is to explain to you the usage and the structure of the simple past in affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. For sure, you already know how to do it, because during the last week, I was talking a little bit about this. We have two different types of verbs, so I'm going to explain a little bit deeper. And hello, Jess Gomez, welcome. I'm going to specify the use of the verb to be, but the difference is going to be in simple past. And I'm going to share some basic vocabulary, time expressions, and one expression that it's very useful for you to use. I just do. Just to, it's something that it's going to help us with the tense we're talking about. I'm going to clarify the doubts about the activities, and that's it. We're going to start with the simple past. That's the first tense we're going to be talking about. In this way, when we talk about this, it's to express things or actions that started and ended at the past. I mean, something that I just started, like I worked. I worked is in the past. Trabajé. Inicié y concluí. Something that started and ended in the past. After that, we have two different types of verbs. First of all, we need to specify this. I was telling you we have some verbs that when we just write it in the base form and we take it from there and just add ed at the end, or if it ends with e and we just add d, with that row we already have regular verbs, and they they get transformed by base form to simple past. For example, work, worked, ed. So when I have this is a regular verb, and if I just add ed at the end, I have the verb from base form to simple past. But there are some other verbs that are irregular verbs, and in this way you have to learn them by the list. I mean, by this chart, you have to try to remember all the structures, because some verbs have the same structure, some others change just a letter, and some others are totally different. So we need to learn them by singing or by just playing, memorizing, or things like that, okay? And we have two different ways. The first one, it's the regular verbs. And in this way, I was explaining you the meaning or the ending of these verbs is ed. They are all similar in the ending. And we have irregular verbs. And in these ones, we have to learn them by them. I mean, we have eat and then ate, speak, spoke, have, had, and they are totally different. There is no rule about this. But about the regular verbs, they end with ed. After this information, I'm going to try to, okay. We have this example, and this chart is going to help us a lot. When we want to talk about affirmative sentences, we're going to take the verbs from the line of simple past. For example, in this way, we have the base form or infinitive, and then when we want to talk in the past, we take it from simple past. And if you see here, we have regular verbs. I mean, they all end with ed. Answer, asked, called. If you see here, we have infinitive, and then we have ed at the end. I'm going to check something just to clarify that it's correctly shared. And we have different verbs, irregular verbs. In this way, we're going to be using the verb be or infinitive be, and it goes to was or were. And we have the verb buy, and we have bought. We have draw, drew, go, went, and there is no rule. They're not similar. If you see, these are irregular. And these ones are regular, because they all end with ed, 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 ed. That's the difference. And when we take the verbs from the infinitive, we take like llamar. And when I want to say I called, llamé. Obviously, when we start a structure, you're gonna start with the subject or personal pronoun. In this way, we have I, you, he, she, it. But there is a difference. When we use the affirmative form, We don't have to do any category. We only have one category, and we're going to take the verb from the simple past, just put it there. We don't have to respect the rules according to the personal pronouns. We have just one rule. Take it from the simple past. For example, I am going to start with the subject or personal pronoun, and after that, I just have the verb. But this verb, it's going to be taken. It's going to be taken from the simple past. And you have to remember that we have regular and irregular verbs. So you need to take that verb and put it there after the subject or personal pronoun. And when we express the affirmative form, after that we have the complement. And the complement, you can incorporate all the information you want. I lived in Mexico for a year. Yo viví en México por un año. If you see here, we have the verb in the simple past. And when we want to talk in negative form, we're going to take the verb in a different line. Why? Because when we talk in the negative form, when we're going to express that we didn't do something, we're going to express the subject or person pronoun, and after that, we incorporate the auxiliary verb did. And this is helping you to know that the sentence is in simple past. Obviously, if you want to talk about negative, you're going to add not after did. Did not. I did not. And then we have the verb in infinitive. We don't take it from simple past. We take it from infinitive. Why? Because we already have did and not. This is only in the negative form, okay? In the affirmative, we take it from simple past. We transform the verb, regular or irregular. But we have in the negative form, auxiliary verb, and then not. They are together. And we can express the verb in the base form or infinitive. I did not live in Mexico for a year. We can express a contraction. That contraction is did not, didn't. We can say I did not, or we can say I didn't. And we use did not or didn't to all the subjects or personal pronouns. There is no rule about this. But the important thing is just take the verb from the infinitive form. Don't add the, ed, or anything. You take the verb from the first line, which is infinitive. And you can express the complement. Sometimes we express the time expressions, or we just to specify more information. So if you see in the affirmative form, we use the simple past. And in negative form, we use the infinitive because we have already an auxiliary, didn't, okay? If you have any problem or situation, just let me know by the chat and let's continue. If I want to do some questions, I'm going to express in the affirmative or negative questions, we're going to use the auxiliary verb did for all the sentences, for all the questions. In affirmative, negative answers, remember, we have two different types of questions, affirmative, negative, or informative. When I want to get yes or not, or I can use giving you information, that's the answer. So in this way, we start with the auxiliary verb, and then we have the subject or person pronoun. After that, we have the verb in infinitive. Why? Because we already have the auxiliary verb did, and we don't need to change it. This is like the change we have. Did you live in Mexico for a year? And then remember, we only use the last question mark, not at the beginning. And we have the question, did you live in Mexico for a year? ¿Viviste tú en México por un año? After that, we have this structure, and the way to answer to these questions, yes, no questions are obviously, yes, I did, if it was something, a statement, or no, I didn't. No, I didn't, or I did not, which is the same. You're going to choose the best option for you. If I want to express informative questions, we're going to express the WH. So we start with WH words that I was talking during the last week. Who, what, where, why, when, how, we're including it. So after that, you incorporate the same structure for yes, no questions. For example, did you live in Mexico? When did you live in Mexico? I'm gonna express, I lived in Mexico last year. Viví en México el año pasado. If you see here, we have the same structure, just to remind you about the WH questions, and the way to give information or the answers are gonna be like affirmative sentences. I live in Mexico for a year. Viví por un año. If you see at platform, we have an example here, and I'm gonna give you, okay. The question is, did you go to Sandy's birthday party last weekend? ¿Fuiste a la fiesta de cumpleaños de Sandy el fin de semana pasado? Yes, I did. Es una pregunta de sí o no. Did you go to Sandy's birthday party last weekend? Yes, I did. And if you see, after this short answer, después de decir sí o no, you can incorporate more information or complement. I finished my homework on time and I went. And if you notice here, we have I finished, terminé my homework, mi tarea, a tiempo, and I went, y fui. Here we have an example about regular verb and irregular verb. Aquí podemos ver un ejemplo del verbo regular, porque termina en ed, y el verbo irregular, que es el verbo went, de el verbo go, en infinitivo, ¿verdad? We have many uses for these auxiliary verbs. And we use, we know that do, sabemos que el verbo do es hacer, and in past we have did, es como hice. But in this case, we're going to use did as an auxiliary, just as an auxiliary, to tell you that we're talking about the simple past. En este caso lo vamos a usar como complemento para hablar de que, para saber que estamos hablando del pasado. Okay, so in this way, I'm going to check if it is just correct. Okay. We're going to be talking about one verb that it's very specific, the verb to be. Yes, we're going to talk about this again. Why? Because we want to mix the verb to be to the did. We cannot mix them. The verb to be, it's going to be like studied in a different way. When I want to talk about that I was, remember, verb to be es ser o estar. Entonces, si yo digo, quiero usar en el pasado simple, yo fui o estuve, voy a utilizar dos categorías. Acuérdense que en el presente usábamos am, is, are. Y ahora vamos a utilizar was or were. Tienen el mismo significado, nada más gramaticalmente se escriben distinto por las dos categorías. If I want to talk about I, he, she, it, these four personal pronouns, I'm going to be using was. Yo era o yo estaba. Normalmente lo usamos como yo estaba. Pero también lo podemos usar para decir algo que éramos. I was a teacher, yo era una maestra. O puedo decir I was at school, yo estaba en la escuela. Era o estaba. Y eso aplica para los pronombres, para todos. And, well, in the past tense. If I want to talk in affirmative form, I'm going to be using the was or were. And after that, I just add complement. And if I want to do it in the negative form, I'm going to just was not. I don't use was or were, did. We cannot mix them. They are totally apart. I'm going to be using was or were if I want to talk in affirmative form. And if it is negative, I'm going to be using not. Was not or wasn't, which is a contraction, or were not, which is a contraction, weren't. We can use both, wasn't or weren't. Just pay attention to the formative activities and remember some of these instructions are saying that don't use the contraction, but you need to respect that. When you want to talk about the affirmative questions or negative, that's my, okay. Affirmative questions or negative, we can put them. And in this way, we're going to express it with the verb to be. in the simple past, and we express it with were or was. And in this way, we use it where at the beginning. If it is a yes, no question. Was she rich? Were they happy? We just change the structure, okay? And when we talk about this, we're going to say, yes, I was, or no, he was. It depends. No, he wasn't. Yes, I was. Yes, she was. It depends on the person or the personal pronoun the people are talking to you about this. If you want to say, estabas, bueno, eras tú rica, por ejemplo. Tenemos una oración aquí que puedo tomar como ejemplo. Ella era rica. She was rich. Estoy haciendo una afirmación. Y si yo quiero decir o hacer una pregunta, puedo hacerlo como, was she rich? ¿Era ella rica? Don't forget the question mark. And the way to answer is, yes, she was. No, she wasn't. Sí, ella era. O no, ella no era. And it applies with the were. También lo podemos utilizar con were. They were happy. Ellos eran felices. If I want to ask, si quiero preguntar, puedo decir, were they happy? Se cambia solamente el inicio. Yes, they were. No, they weren't. And it applies with all the different personal pronouns. And if I want to do it in an informative question, I just incorporate the WH words, okay? At the beginning, and everything is just the same. If I want to talk about a comparison about the present and past tense, we have am, is, or are in present, but in past, we're going to incorporate was or were. That's it. And we can include yesterday, ayer, last month, el mes pasado, last week, la semana pasada, last year, el año pasado, and so on. We can incorporate more information like complement. In this way, we have this structure, and we have another example with the was or the were. I'm glad you finished your homework. Was it difficult? No, it wasn't. Le está preguntando. Estoy feliz de que terminaste tu tarea. ¿Estuvo eso difícil? No, no estuvo. In fact, de hecho, it was pretty easy. Estuvo muy fácil. So in this way, we can see the way to apply a question with was or were. Was it difficult? ¿Estuvo eso difícil? No, it wasn't. So let's continue with this explanation. We have some time expressions. We can use last, as I was telling you. Nosotros podemos utilizar last, night, Sunday, week, weekend, year, month, or all the information we want to incorporate here and specify the way that the action was developed. Or we can use ago, 10 minutes ago, hace 10 minutos, an hour ago, hace una hora, a week ago, hace una semana, and so on. We can also use yesterday, but we can specify the specific time. Yesterday morning, afternoon, evening, or the day before yesterday, antier. We can use it. And we have the last expression before we start with the affirmative activities. We have just to. And this expression is going to help us to build some sentences about something that we had like a habit. For example, we can say, I used to drive. Yo solía manejar. Así que la expresión used to es como solía. I used to drive. Y lo único que hago es incorporar pronombre personal al inicio y al final un verbo en la forma infinitiva. ¿Por qué? Porque el to con un verbo en infinitivo hace la terminación ar, ir. In this way we have I used to drive. Yo solía manejar. You used to run. Tú solías correr. He used to read. Él solía leer. And so on. We can continue with this. We're going to start with the affirmative activities. And in this way, you can see in the first one, you're going to be reading, trying to read and complete information about Elvis Presley. So in this way, you're going to take the verb that it's in parentheses, and you're going to take it and just try to see if it is regular or irregular. If it is in affirmative, negative, or if it is a question. And we're going to be using did or didn't, or maybe the verb in regular or regular form. And if it is a verb to be, remember, it's totally different. We don't mix them. We need to use, if it is verb to be, was or were, and then when we have a negative form, was not or wasn't, were not or weren't. And after that, we have the way to express the questions, just exchanging was she, were you, and so on, okay? And in the second activity, you're going to complete the activity, but it's like a conversation, and you're going to take the verbs and the auxiliaries. In this case, you can apply the auxiliary did, or it depends. According to the information, you're gonna try to complete in this way. In the integrative activity, a happy day, you have a lot of information to think, because you have to write a 5 to 8 line text explaining the happiest day of your life. And you're gonna describe what happened, how you felt, and why you felt that way. You're going to add a picture, and this picture can be either real or it can be taken from the internet. There is no problem. Just remember to use the information about the information of the picture you take it from. You're going to incorporate the important details. Where did you take it from? So remember, because you are not the owner of that picture or image. You're going to answer the question, why is it important to know about past events? And you're going to write it in a 5 to 8 lines. You're going to express why you think it is very important to know this. And you're going to include the audio link recording your voice to this information. Remember, we have the happiest day of your life, and why is it important to know about this past events, okay? And it's important to specify that sometimes we incorporate dates. Algunas veces nosotros especificamos un día o un mes. And we need to respect the rules. Tenemos que respetar las reglas. Un ejemplo que yo les tengo aquí es iniciar. Por ejemplo, si quiero especificar solamente un día de la semana, voy a utilizar on Monday. Si voy a especificar una fecha con el día del mes, on Monday, or I can incorporate, si quiero incorporar incluso el mes, el número y el día, primero debo de poner on August, the number, el mes, luego el número, y después del número, el año. Y a lo último yo incorporo el día de la semana. Es importante especificar que los días, los números de los días del mes, perdón, tenemos que respetar mucho las reglitas de usar números ordinales. Es decir, en inglés se utiliza, más que decir que hoy es el día 12, dicen doceavo, o el segundo, o el tercero, o el cuarto. Entonces, el número no solamente le tengo que poner el 12, 14, 18, tengo que incorporarle algo. ¿Y a qué se refiere esto? Primero tomo como base los números. El primero es first, porque la palabra first es primero. Second es el segundo. Third es el tercero. Fourth, el cuarto, y así te vas. Es importante mencionar que donde tenemos que tener cuidado es en el 1, 2 y 3. Porque del 4 en adelante todos son con TH. Se les agrega el fourth, fifth, sixth, esa terminación TH a los números. Entonces es importante como reglita cuidar que cuando sea, por ejemplo, el número 1, 2, 3, bueno, voy a tener que poner first, second or third, como está aquí en la imagen. Y posteriormente, lo voy a acercar un poquito para que sea más claro para ustedes. Posteriormente, del 4 en adelante, incluyendo aquí el 11, 12 y 13 como reglita, aquí vamos a poner todos con TH hasta el 20. ¿Qué pasa cuando digo que es el día 21? Bueno, en este sentido voy a poner el 21 escrito y voy a poner ST. ¿Por qué? Porque me está agarrando el número 1. Si es el 22, sería segundo, 22nd. El 22, ND. 23, RD. 23rd, 24th. Se vuelve a repetir la terminación, por lo tanto, yo tengo que cuidar mucho los primeros 3 números sobre todo, okay? And it applies with all, we can use this kind of verbs or numbers, I mean, don't just use it with the dates. We can incorporate with many different competitions. And in this way, we're going to use it with the dates. If you're expressing the time, if you're expressing the year, si estás expresando el año, lo que puedes hacer es que si es un año de antes del 2000, lo puedes dividir. Puedes decir 1984, 1984. Pero si ya es un número del 2000 al 2010, nosotros ya normalmente decimos 2000, 2000, and 6, and 4, and 3. Okay? We have an example here about this, the date. Let's suppose that this is the date for today. Vamos a pretender que esta es la fecha, okay? Today is, well, or it was, o mi historia, mi situación pasó en, era la fecha, okay, July 20th, 2021, Tuesday. Ahora, ¿qué pasa? Esto de el año, ahí no le voy a incorporar nada, nada de terminación. Lo voy a decir tal cual. 2000, 2021, and 21. And we can incorporate just at the number of the day of the month. Solamente en el número del mes. I mean, en el número específico dentro del mes. A eso es lo que le voy a agregar yo la terminación TH, no al año, ¿ok? And in the interior activity number 4, making my family timeline, we're gonna do something very, it's a great activity because you're gonna learn a lot about your family. Van a de verdad a movilizar un poco emociones porque van a conocer un poquito más de su familia. Así que vamos a poner mucha atención. You're going to write 10 questions in English and Spanish. They can see or they can be the same. Why? ¿Por qué? Procuren que sean las mismas, tanto en español como en inglés, porque muchas veces redactamos una pregunta en inglés apoyándonos al 100% del traductor, lo cual no debería de ser. Y con esto prácticamente se da un sentido a la pregunta. Puede ser que el traductor no lo haga correctamente, por eso siempre los invito a que ustedes traten de estructurar sus preguntas, textos, enunciados y demás, porque así ustedes le dan el sentido. Puede pasar que ustedes si abusan de lo que es el traductor, en ocasiones pues nos dé un sentido totalmente distinto a lo que ustedes querían decir. Por eso es que se pide como referencia que sean español e inglés, para yo dar una respuesta un poco más específica o una corrección hacia el sentido de las preguntas. You're going to interview a family member. You're going to ask questions about this family story. Vas a tratar de esas preguntas de redactarlas con relación a la historia familiar para saber al respecto. De dónde vienen, acerca de sus antepasados, la historia, cómo llegaron a esta ciudad, incluso a este país, puede ser. Y ustedes van a hacer la entrevista. You're going to interview a family member and try to think the person is going to give you the information. Traten de seleccionar una persona que pueda darles la información. Obviously, we're in pandemic, so if you want, you can do it through Zoom, Meet, Skype, Hangouts, WhatsApp, FaceTime, Google Duo, Instagram, Snapchat. You can use Facebook Messenger, all the platforms you know, you can do it through them. And these questions are going to be asked in the language the person knows. And you are going to do it in English and Spanish. And obviously the answers are going to be getting by the native language. And you're going to transform them to the other language, okay? English and Spanish, English and Spanish. We have the questions, both English and Spanish, and we have the answers English and Spanish, okay? You're going to explain the experience of listening your family story in a 5 to 8 line paragraph. So when you finish with this interview, you're going to have a lot of information about your story, your family story. And what are you going to do with that? Well, try to remember to ask questions with WH, and these are informative questions, or with the negative or affirmative questions. You're going to, with all this information, create a timeline incorporating the events in chronological order and paste it into the file or add the share link. If you want, you can incorporate there at your file the timeline. But if it is so like or something like that, you can't share by Drive. You can take the file, put it in the cloud, and then get the link to share and just paste it at the file. And when I click on it, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be directed by this link, and I'm gonna see your timeline. What are you going to do after this when you have the timeline? You're gonna record the audio about the questions and the answers in English, just in English. I don't want any, I don't need it in Spanish, just in English. You're gonna ask the questions and the answers. You can read the question and the answer, the question and the answer, the question and the answer, so on. And finally, we have the learning photo. You have to express in this photo information about activities or situations that are occur, well, that occur in the past. So you're going to use the simple past structure, and you're going to try to share important information or meaningful information about yourself and your life and maybe your family and your job and things like that you want to express. Try to practice as much as you can, and you're going to share in the community and write about what you were doing before entering this stage of your life and what motivated you to study your high school in this modality, which is online. So you're going to express these two informations that are very important, and they are going to help us to know you better. And it's time to express questions. And if you have any question, problem, situation, yes? Is everything clear? Is everything all right? If you want, you can express your doubts. Any question, any doubt? Okay, let's check. I mean, that was a mistake with the questions. Okay, if there is no question, you know, I already have finished with this presentation. I want to thank you for your attention. All the information you are going to be studying, I know you're going to check it again. And in case you have more more questions during the process, just try to do them, okay? Don't doubt about doing the question, doing the clarifying the doubts. I'm gonna be here trying to help you, and just let me know by the email and by platform messages, you know? And that's it. Thank you so much for your attention. It was a pleasure to be here with you. I know you're going to be watching this video on your time, and thank you so much. See you next Monday, okay?